Starting lineup: Tom, Wukong, Oriana, Jinx, Bard. Up against Set, Graves, Victor, Caitlyn, Lux. Rating of the picks for a casual game: Tom as a top, 9. Oriana as a mid, 5. I have to be honest and say 5 for the simple reason that I've never seen it done before. Before this game, that is. So I cannot imagine that this is a good pick for the average casual player. Jinx as a shooter, 5. Bard as a support, 6. Set as a top, 8. Graves as a jungler, 6. Victor as a mid, 4. Caitlyn as a shooter, 10. Lux as support, 6. Yeah, a couple of things here. Bard is by itself would be of course a 10 out of 10 for the professionals. Bard is wildly overcomplicating things on an amateur level. And usually when you see him in the amateurs, it's a troll. It's usually not serious. In this case, it was a serious person, although he didn't play seriously, but it was a serious individual. Bard is that example of that I gave in one of the first wukong episodes of just going way too deep for your own good. There is really no need to overcomplicate things to this extent. In the casuals, all you need is good peel, good health, and to stick together and go after the objectives. That's what you need for the casuals. You don't need all this insane level trickery stuff, movement stuff. 99% of people are just confused by it, just trying to keep it real. We have Victor as a 4. Since he has been renewed, about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks have gone by now, if I'm counting correctly. Admittedly, sometimes I do lose track of time. I have not seen Victor succeed at anything since. I don't know what the purpose is of remaking him or redoing him if he's still completely terrible. We have seen Victor lose on literally everything. As a general rule, Darius is an absolute centerpiece of League Universe. Garen, centerpiece of the League Universe. Those champs are okay, but they're not powerful compared to other champions by any means. They're just regular okay champs. And then we have here, which is now made because there's essentially two pieces, right? The main two pieces of the League universe that have been brought to the public eye is the might of Demacia up against the hand of Noxus, which was Garen up against Darius. This is something that has really been a selling point to the public and something that they want to market. And now you have this arcane movie that seems to go somewhat mainstream and reach a very broad audience. And in this, we have Jinx and Victor playing very key core roles. And once again, I must say, it seems like every time people get into your lore and people get into your public selling points, they always only get punished for it. In the case of Garen, we have limiting your growth, permanently essentially capping your ceiling, what you could possibly become, because there's no way you're gonna do ever anything beyond the amateurs with Garen. And then on the other hand, we have this arcane story where people are seduced to get into all this Jinx stuff, all this Victor stuff, and literally everybody who does is getting railed. Everybody who buys into your thing is being thrown around like a rag doll in the actual game universe. This is, to me, as somebody who's interested in marketing things, this is a very interesting experience. And this has been a very interesting display, is to see you essentially build everything around very mediocre individuals in your own product. I really expected Victor to see some kind of buff or some kind of advancement or some kind of bonus, but no, he's just same old Victor. Like, I have seen probably 40 games with Victor in it. He has been a punching bag for 40 games. There is no discussion whatsoever about Victor. There is no discussion about him whatsoever. We've not seen him in the last couple of years in pro play, so that's out. He can't be professionally sound. And we see him every day in amateur play, and we know for a fact that he's a ragdoll because he loses games. Now, this Luciano person here is an individual who spent his money and his time in the holiday season on this creation, and he wanted to shine in game. And I'm going to take a long, hard guess that he's probably been getting farmed for Christmas. Make of that what you will. Moving on. I'm going to keep playing this kind of clip. It's what every single game should start like. There is no reason for you as the mid not to get involved in this farming of whatever gets stuck in the rat trap that is the void grubs. Tops, mid. This is something actually bottom laners are beautiful at on average, but mid laners, top laners, throwing away kills, they'd rather have a losing record and less kills and less opportunities than that they would share whatever gets stuck in the void grubs with their jungler. Come over for a minute, help me out, take this guy down. Everything that gets stuck in there is free. Involve team jungle activity, pursuing the objective. You know that I can't knock everybody out while I'm handling this dragon. And you have essentially these two lanes collapsing both on top of whatever is stuck trying to assassinate me while I'm handling this Drake. This also puts much more pressure on the enemy jungler and makes him look really bad. You have here in display this massive disparity, a level 10 Orianna, a level 7 Caitlyn. And this is planned movement versus reactive movement. You have a group of people on the red team stuck in positions committing to things where they don't know where they're going and they don't know what they're doing. And for Graves in this play, it is just too little too late. We have Tom up against Seth. These abilities are completely used randomly. These buttons are completely randomly pushed. This has nothing to do with how Tom is played. Tom is a nearly indestructible magic user and mage who does AP damage and slows with his iconic tongue lash. When you're playing Tom correctly, you're staying at maximum distance. Very typically, Tom Kench is played in support instead of top. The reason for this is that when you are going top, you have to push your own lane, and your kill speed and clear speed in minions matters, and your AoE matters. Tom can handle that. Tom could handle anything, but then you have to build him very specifically for that and play very specifically for that. For instance, you get strange builds that help with ability cooldown by giving him Profane Hydra so that he can push his lane by himself using AoE. For instance, you can give him Blackfire so that every time that he licks somebody, he's gonna set them on fire. In 1v1, you're gonna use his ultimate situationally because you're under a turret, or you're gonna use it to temporarily interrupt the enemy player from doing a move. You don't use it haphazardly, it's not just some kind of burst damage dealing move. You also don't fight at this range with Tahm Kench. That would be the same thing as fighting at this range with Caitlyn or fighting at this range with Teemo. In a situation with his build, Tahm is very much like Sejuani. The reason why people love to build all around indestructibility with Tahm and primarily use him as a support and as somebody who can just take hits is because that does not demand that you get into the intricacies of managing his abilities, which are not straightforward. On the other hand, his health is predictable and is very straightforward. Yeah, with all that, we've of course had a great laugh, and this is absolutely hilarious. You get one opportunity to do something like that, and you can kick back and laugh your autistic little ass off, and then after that, that's that. I mean, that's the end of that at that point. That's the only chance you're going to get. And the problem with that, I would know very well because it turns out Wukong is half tank, half assassin. Tahm Kench is half tank, half mage, but you don't know that. You think he's a complete tank the way you're playing him. And so one thing I know about tanks, because I spend my days as a half tank, so I know something about tanks, is tanks need way more trust from their teammates than players like Caitlyn do. Because it turns out that as a tank, once you're in, you can very rarely get out because you have to get really close. So if you want, essentially as a tank, that means that your reputation and your interpersonal relationships are much more important than if you're, say, Caitlyn or you're, say, Jhin. Because if you're Caitlyn or Jhin, who gives a S, you can always get out anyway. You can just walk back, you can just get out of situations because you're at such range. With a tank, you really need a lot of trust. If you want to soil all that trust, be my guest. Be my guest. I can tell you, sweetheart, the way the world works, all the rest of us had a whale of a time for the rest of the game watching you chain die because nobody's gonna come and save somebody like that. If that's your behavior, if you'd rather, especially if you've already been exposed so long to dying anyway, and then suddenly you literally cannot even take a moment to help me out in the most straightforward possible way. Instead, you would rather sit back and watch me die and enjoy watching me die. As a tank, you're just soiling your reputation, and that's your bartering chip for the rest of the game. Because you have no choice as your playstyle. You have to go in. And so yeah, when you go in, none of us is gonna go in ever again. And that's what the record shows. As I said, nobody's following you. It's not vengeance, it's strategy. Because we know that we can't trust you on any level. Orianna relies on her ball mechanic for size, area control, and burst damage. When Orianna commands her ball to go to a specific location, anything that is in its way will get hit. Afterwards, when her ball is in place, any kind of AoE that she deals will be radiating from that location, wherever the ball lands. Using both Shadow Flame and Rabadon's Death Cap here so you know that enemies are going to go down really quickly. This clip also allows us a beautiful piece and bit of insight into Jinx's limitations and how unattractive a lot of her skills are. You can tell here, just one mob being in the way all the way at the end of the play allows the enemy to escape because she fires her long-range stun pistol and there's just one little red guy, one little red minion in the way, and it screws with everything. That's all you need to make her abilities go wrong. This game is one of the first times in my life that I've really felt handicapped by way of movement speed, and I'm going to keep an eye out for Yomu in the future, because I really saw that some of the things that I wanted to do I couldn't get done. Victor's ultimate looks really pretty now. It looks really serene. The skin especially allows it a beautiful shine. Still doesn't get anybody down. This top laner boy has no magic resistances whatsoever that I can recall. He eats his ultimate like it's nothing, because Victor is still trash. In casual games, Warwick would be a much better support than Bard. When built responsibly, Mordekaiser would also be a better support than Bard. These are emotions that you see here at play and interactions that you see at play that are simply not going to work out for you as a casual. Simply put, every time Bard gets into a duel, we all get a crisis, because either we leave you to your fate and you're just a literal piñata, or we literally drop everything we are doing and we come and help you out every single time. Yeah, Orianna, one of the least popular characters for casuals in the video game. This is the second time in my life that I've seen Orianna. Anybody want to go Orianna after this? So that's one click of a button, one tap of a button, triple kill here. Obviously very popular pick for the pros. My inability to think about levels because I'm not a lifelong MOBA player, so I think differently because I come from a different environment. I know that Ruined King will not give you the sustain you need to go up against me. I know that your build is terrible on this set individual, and yes, I know that you've been farming gold on Tom Kench by going on kill streaks against him and just manipulating him to get extra gold. But I also realize that I've stopped set in many games before this, and I know that you don't know from a build standpoint what you are doing. And if anybody's going to be able to stop you, it's going to be me, because I'm the only one who is even remotely tanky. So I'm diving in after you. This is an emotional decision on my part. It's not a good decision. It's not good decision making. I am level 11, you are level 15, and that is that. As Set levels up in the middle of this play. If I'm going to successfully make this journey and learn gradually more about League of Legends, my biggest challenge on an individual level is getting levels and staying at level. I am under level in almost every single game. And if you see some of these German boys go, there is no moment in the game that they're not killing jungle monsters, and that is all fine and well. The thing that I don't understand about that is, like, when I take 2 minutes off to go and farm in the jungle, my team calls me out on it and says that I'm missing, and that I'm missing in action. So how on earth am I gonna be in the jungle every minute to farm up? I honestly think I did what I could to jump in front of this sniper shot ace in the hole from Caitlyn. Having Bard on your team always feels like such a masochistic obligation on every level. Like, you try to... I'm very close to taking the bullet there. I'm very close to where the bullet is. I'm trying to take the bullet for him. That's all I can do, man. And this play is a good summary of the entire game. You have red team where a guy dives in and the rest follows, and you have blue team where a guy dives in and nobody follows. And I think that's probably the essence of League of Legends, is that somebody's going to initiate and the rest is going to follow. And if that doesn't happen, if if you all play individually and you all play as individuals instead of as a team, you have no chance. Taking a look at the scoreboard here, there is a special place in hell for the people who can make Tom Kench go 0-9. Please go F yourself. And also, as we've seen in the 5 plays of the game, just great results of screwing me over. It was clearly worth it. It was clearly worth screwing me over. Yeah, Tom Kench is in the top 3 easiest characters to play in the video game, and he's nearly indestructible. If you can go 0-9, you are officially one of the worst players today, without any exaggeration. Is Tom Kench kind of a little bit easy mode? Yeah, it kind of is. Kind of a little bit. If you want to question me on that, try it yourself. Going monstrously all-out offense here. Major experience. You have major experience playing the game, and this is what you come away with. From my perspective, this points to like either you're drinking or there's something going on. There's no way that either you have mental challenges or you just by now for sure 100% of the people have a basic ID. Once you've gotten to this point where you're aquamarine, 100% of people have a basic ID of how to use items. Yeah, we are unfortunately going to have to drop our tank counter back to 0 because we have Tom using defensive items here and we have Bard using defensive items here, so this is the exception to the rule. Yeah, and this is where cults are made. This is how it all started. This is how we got to the point where we have the cult of the Blade of the Ruined King is this thing. This is a young German boy who is quick with the controls, who's going up against masochistic enemies, and an enemy team that has a lack of cohesion. This is what it comes down to, boys. Outside of Yasuo and Yone, if you intend to deal damage in melee, you have to go with assassin items. That is because Set has to close the gap first. That is why, for instance, on Jinx, attack speed and the Ruined King here are very good, this auto attack stuff, because she doesn't have to close the gap. If you have to close the gap, this is a clown mode build. Adding this is clown mode. I don't care how bad our record is and how great your record is. Set is going to spend 70% of combat trying to tank or trying to close the gap, whether he wants to or not, because other players are going to try to kite him. And so you powering up your auto attacks like you would on Jinx with Ruined King, let's all say it together now, only helps when the enemy is standing still in front of you. Moving on.
Just try stuff. Adapt to all situations. Never settle for second. Every mistake is a lesson. questions my ability?
An enemy has been slain.
My place is at the top.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
My journey's only beginning. Been waiting for this.
An enemy has been slain.
Show me the path.
Killing spree. An ally has been slain.
Adapt to all situations. Never settle for second. Every mistake is a lesson. Who questions my ability?
An ally has been slain.
Bring me a real challenge. place is at the top.
Oh.
My journey's only beginning. Is that all they've got?
Shut down.
I know what makes them tick. I know how to make the ticking stop.
Never settle for second. Show me the path.
Dominating.
Put me to the test. Who questions my ability?
Turret plating will soon fall.
Every mistake is a lesson.
Godlike.
You got it.
Your turret has been destroyed.
My place is at the top.
Your team
Bring me
has
a
destroyed
real
a turret.
Adapt to all situations. settle for second.
Ravage.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Show me the path.
Your turret has been destroyed. Legendary.
Who questions my ability?
I know how to make the chicken stop.
Juju style.
An ally has been slain.
Every mistake. You got it.
An ally has been slain.
My place is at the top. My journey's only beginning.
has been slain.
You got it. Adapt to all situations.
Legendary. Shut down. An ally has been slain.
Try to stop me.
Your turret has been destroyed.
My place is at the top. My journey's only beginning.
You have been slain. Shut down. Triple kill.
Bring me a real challenge. Show me the path. Never settle for second.
slain.
Adapt to all situations. Been waiting for this. I got this. My place is at the top.
Ally has been slain.
My journey's only beginning. A real challenge. Never settle for second.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
I know what makes them tick.
Every mistake is a lesson.
An ally has been slain. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Enemy rampage. Enemy killing spree.
You got it.
Your turret has been destroyed.